My name is Jackson Moore. Me and my extended family would all stay at my grandparents' cabin for weeks during the summer. My grandfather's family built a summer home in Washington State, and it has been our family retreat ever since. The area is nice and secluded. The nearest neighbor is over a mile away. I would always get to see my cousins that lived all across the states, and since we were all roughly the same age, we all loved playing together. It was a typical day. The kids were playing hide and seek, and the parents were cooking a barbecue. I had just turned 10 a week before. My cousins were all 6 to 16 years old. Jason was the oldest by far and was forced to play with us. The parents made him do it to make sure we didn't get lost. We were playing manhunt in the woods that day. We were pretty far from the house, but the parents didn't care since Jason was with us. I got picked to be it with one of my little cousins, Terry, who was 7 at the time. I knew that meant I was going to have to do most of the legwork. There were about 10 of us, and I knew I was faster than most of them, so I wasn't worried. Terry and I counted to 50 and let everyone run. As soon as the count was over, we both ran. I saw Jason bolt one way, and since I wanted to prove how fast I am, I chased after him. He was fast and got away to a point where I couldn't see him anymore. I started to walk quietly just in case. Maybe I could sneak up on someone. As I walked for 20 minutes in one direction, I saw nothing. I was starting to get bored and I started hearing some leaves rustle. I thought I saw Jason. He was the only one that size. He was around 100 feet away, hunched over doing something. I couldn't see him clearly because all the trees that were blocking him, so I knew he didn't know I was there. As I got closer, I started to see him crouching and doing something, but I couldn't quite make out what it was. I was holding in my laughter because I couldn't wait to pop out and tag him. All of a sudden, I accidentally stepped the wrong way and fell down. I was fine, and I was still far enough where he couldn't see me, but he definitely heard me. A man looked in my direction and yelled, "Who's there?" I had no idea who this person was, but it definitely wasn't Jason. He looked like an ordinary guy, probably the same age as my parents. He looked long and hard in my direction. He looked back down at whatever he was working on, and then slowly walked towards me. I laid still and quiet. What would a random adult be doing in the forest on his own? I heard the voice of a few of my cousins taunting me from afar. "Jackson, where are you? You're the one that's supposed to be looking for us, not the other way around." You could tell he was panicked now. He ran back to where he was before I scared him. He reached down and pulled up a kid. It was my cousin Rachel. This man put a cloth and duct tape around her mouth. He put her on his shoulder and hurried away. As they were leaving, I could see her eyes were wide open and filled with fear. I was in complete shock. I waited until he couldn't hear me move and then started running towards my cousins. As I got closer, I saw Jason and another one of my cousins laughing at me because it was taking me so long to catch someone. "It's been an hour. Terry already gave up and got food. Where were you?" I took a second to catch my breath and yelled, "Someone kidnapped Rachel and is going behind the hill. We need to get help, now." Jason started yelling for everyone to come back and telling them it was an emergency. Everyone showed up quickly except for Rachel and Terry, who was already back at the cabin. We all sprinted back, crying and yelling to our family about what just happened. Rachel's mom and my mom were on the phone with the police. I had already told the dads where I saw her last and where the man was going. They rushed out with guns and motorbikes to find her. The rest of the family went inside. Jason and one of the moms were now armed, looking to see if there was an intruder coming into our house. After about 30 minutes, 2 police cruisers showed up and took me aside. It's not surprising that they took so long. We're basically in the middle of nowhere. I told them everything I knew. The police stayed to speak with Rachel's mom to try to see if she had any photos to distribute to them so they know how she looks like. As they were speaking, one of the cops from the other room said that they found her. He said that the dads were able to catch up to the man and tackle him down. The man was in rough shape because Rachel's dad had beaten him badly while the cops came. They had to basically pry him off. Apparently the dads held him down and called the police to tell them what area they were in. About an hour later, we saw Rachel again in her father's arms. His hands were covered in dirt and blood. We were also happy that nothing bad happened to her and she wasn't hurt. Apparently the man snuck up on her and choked her out while she was hiding during manhunt. Luckily the man was on foot and couldn't get far carrying her through the woods. He was arrested that day and was charged with multiple felonies. From that point on, our parents were much more strict on us while we were kids. When we went to visit our grandparents, we were only allowed to play where there was parent supervision. I don't think the kids minded at all, especially if it prevented another incident like this.